Thanks for staying here. Now, there's pressure mounting on the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission from various power producers and transmitters to approve an increase in tariffs for the year 2019 and beyond. Power transmitter GRIDCo is asking for about a 95% increase in tariffs that will see the fee currently pegged at 2.5107 pesos per kilowatt hour increase to 4.897 per kilowatt hour. Public utility providers in the northern region have also made a similar proposal to the PRC when they held public engagements with relevant agencies last week. Presenting GRIDCo's justification for the increase at a similar engagement in Accra, manager for marketing operations Kofi Oredunto said this will ensure that tariffs reflect cost of transmission.
The power players, including NEDCO, ECG and GRIDCo, among others, had asked for an increase in tariffs last year. This, however, did not happen with government's push for reduction getting endorsement of the PURC. For the year 2019, the story remains the same as the power players maintain only an increase would ensure their survival.
For looking at our costs and our projections, we came to realize that the tariff of 4.897 pesos per kilowatt hour would be sufficient for us to be able to continue to do business. But it's more important that we're able to sustain this business into the future.
While the fixed cost is 0.1481 cedis per kilowatt hour, if we add a variable cost to the fixed cost, it gives us a total of 0.4305. as against the existing tariff we have now, which is 0.307555, and that gives an increase of about 39.98%.
The Trade Union Congress is urging PRC to disregard the cause for an increase in tariffs.
We think that with fuel prices coming down or stabilizing, and the fact that we are now going to use more gas, which has a relatively cheaper cost, the fact that inflation is stabilizing below 10%, we think that there's still room for further reduction in fuel utility tariffs.
Commissioner at PURC Ishmael Ejekumhene says they are yet to decide the tariffs. He also addressed concerns about possible astronomical hikes with the takeover of ECG by new managers.
They are being regulated by PURC. As far as the laws of Ghana is concerned, it's only the PURC that approves tariffs. No other person, not even the World Bank, not even the president of this country approves tariffs to come from PURC. And doing what we need to do to make sure that we pay fair prices for electricity and nothing outrageous.
Thank you very much. An announcement is expected to be made by February 1 when new managers of ECG take office.
So the PRC says that this review will be announced by February 1. Minority spokesperson on energy, Adams Mutawakilu, a month ago claimed the energy sector is in crisis because of ECG's spiraling debt. He says it's now almost 2 billion Ghana cedis. He blames the situation on government's decision to reduce electricity tariffs last year. He's here with me in the studio for a discussion on this very, very important issue. Great to have you here, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You called the reduction of tariffs political.
Yes.
And now we are hearing from the PRC that the claims that you make that they are likely to increase tariffs, it's not true. They are dismissing those claims.
No.
Also, the power distributors actually requested for a tariff of 23 pesos per kilowatt hour, I beg your pardon, which is less than the 30 pesos ECG took last year.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I said it was political last year because for the first time in the history of Ghana, tariff reduction with appropriate figure was captured in the budget, which were not PURC inputs. Also last year, the President of the Republic of Ghana, in meeting tailors, hairdressers, announced the reduction. So PURC had no other option than to adhere to what the President had said. So I'm not the one saying it. It's the actions of the government that had indicated that it was politically motivated. But when I'm talking of the increment, I'm not talking just because I'm ranking, and I sat down and decided to do whatever I want to do. I do it in relation to, this is a Electricity Company of Ghana, when they met the Committee of Mines and Energy, and this is their media review.
Okay.
Electricity Company of Ghana said they bought the power at 3 billion, about 3 billion.
Okay.
They sold the power at 3 billion. That is what they sold. But they bought the power at 3.8 billion. So if Electricity Company of Ghana should buy power at 3.8 billion and sold it at 3 billion, about 3.1, they made a loss of 711 million Ghana cedis half year, January to June 2018. So if you add their distribution expenses, administrative expenses, and other expenses, there was a loss of 1.146 billion Ghana cedis. The question I ask is that the concessionaire coming in, will he want to run it at this rate, where they buy it at high and sell it at low? The question is definitely no. So I'm looking at the practicality of what ECG is going through. And this is factual. Government cannot deny that these figures are not true. Will the concessionaire be ready to incur half-year debt of 711 million Ghana cedi? That is the direct cost, not taking into consideration administrative and distributing expenses. If you add those one, you get about 1.14 billion. That is the question we should ask. Two, we're all aware that the cedi wasn't stable throughout 2018. PURC in our media review indicated that even though there was depreciation, it wasn't factored in the tariff and subsequent quarterly tariff adjustment. The issue is, will the concessionaire be ready to absorb forex losses? The answer is no, because it cannot collect in cedis, but it pays independent power producers in dollars. And will sit down. Maybe ECG, because it's 100% owned by government, they can absorb and accumulate debt for us to pay.
Help us understand the figures again. You said they made 3 million?
They sold the power, direct cost, at 3.8 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay. That's
how they bought the power, direct cost. But they sold it at 3.1 billion. So there was a loss of 711 million Ghana cedi. That direct, that is in respect to power purchases and sales.
Interesting. So right now we're at a crossroads. The power distributors, we heard from the Northern NETCO, we heard from GRIDCo. Now they are making some proposals to the PURC asking that, look, we need to increase the tariffs.
Yeah.
And Meralco will take over soon. You sit on the Mines and Energies Committee of Parliament. What should Ghanaians expect?
First and foremost, NETCO is 100% owned by VRA. And VRA is 100% owned by government. So government might have control over NETCO. But we must also acknowledge that the losses of NETCO increased from 10 million Ghana cedis in 2017 to 230 million Ghana cedis in 2018. That means that the company is in distress. We must accept it. GRIDCo is owned by government, and it deals with transmission. So government might have the ability to direct them what to sell and how to. And then when they build the debt, then government might say, okay, I'll take over the debt and pay for you. And who pays for it? We, the ordinary Ghanaians. But now when it comes to ECG, because a private person is coming in, government cannot control it. It will be difficult. And that is why I would have wished that PURC would have informed Ghanaians what the private Meralco is demanding. But as we speak, we don't have information.
You have colleagues on the majority side,
yes,
sitting on the same committee with you. What is their response or reaction to all the figures and the proposals by these power distributors?
Yeah, they will be meeting us, PURC will be meeting us on Thursday. And that is where we'll be able to scrutinize it very well and make a public statement as minority. So as we speak now, I cannot talk of the majority input. If they have done their own analysis, but these are factual, they also have copies of what I have. And they all agree that this is true, that ECG is in serious challenges. And they also believe that the company is in serious distress. So if Thursday we meet PURC, whatever it is, the public will know much about it.
Finally, on this issue of tariffs, there are many who believe out there that the current power situation is because over the time governments have totally politicized an issue that should not have been politicized in the first place. How do we get ourselves out of this mess issue with debts and tariffs and coming out clean so that we can have a well-sanitized energy sector in the country?
Thank you very much. President Mahama, in his wisdom, thought that there was the need to get out of this energy debt situation. So that's why he brought ESLA, and to ensure that we increase the tariff in a manner that will enable ECG to survive. And as such, in 2016, ECG made a profit of 725.5 million Ghana cedis. This is from ECG themselves. They made a profit. That means that we are getting out of a situation where these state-owned enterprises accumulate debt for future generations to pay. But in 2017, we incurred a loss of 521 million Ghana cedis. And 2018 half year, 1.1 billion. So the situation doesn't look good. We thought we were getting out of it, but we are plunging ourselves deep into the debt.
So how do we take out the politics and so the ordinary people do not have to bear the brunt of this, if I want to call it political circus, maybe, because there's just this whole thing of going round and round the issue and we never get out of it.
That is why, as minority, led by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, we do our analysis with concrete information. You've realized I didn't come to rattle and speak about issues without evidence of what the agencies are actually facing. And that's the best way to go about it.
How do we get out of it?
The best way to get out of it is to let PURC do the right thing. Government should stop influencing and announcing results and thinking that the previous government was insensitive. You
think PURC has been monitored, manipulated?
By 2018 it was evidently clear.
Away from the issue of tariffs, Ghana's oil production is expected to significantly go up as a result of newly discovered large deposits of oil in the Cape 3 Point area. Norwegian company Aker Energy ASA announced on January 10, 2019 that based on existing subsurface data from seismic wells drilled and analysis of the Pecan 4A well results, the existing discoveries are estimated to contain gross contingent resources of 450 to 550 million barrels of oil equivalent. The country currently produces 200,000 barrels of oil daily. The new oil field is expected to add another 200,000 barrels daily by 2021. Well, Minister of Energy John Petamiu says Ghana will continue to collaborate with and support Aker Energy and its partners as the country jointly work to deliver the first oil as quickly as possible and ensure significant value is retained in Ghana. There are, however, some concerns from this announcement by government agencies and the expectation from this finder. I've still got the minority spokesperson on mines and energy here with me to tell us what the minority's concerns are really with regards to this. Some will say it's good news. What's your problem with it?
Yeah, it's good news, and it has been good news since 2013. Because I'll look at this thing vis-a-vis discovery and vis-a-vis what Ghana has lost. We couldn't take opportunity that came up. First of all, this agreement was passed in 2006 with an exploration period of 7 years. That means go and explore whether you get oil.
And we must say this was with a different company.
Called HES.
Great.
It was an agreement between Government of Ghana and HES Ghana. HES Ghana had 90% shares, and Government of Ghana through GMPC had 10% shares. That was the structure of the agreement. Between 2011 and 2013, Hess Ghana drilled 8 wells on that block and discovered 7 of the wells resulted in discovery. 2 of the 7 were gas discoveries. 5 were oil. So that was the point of discovery.
And that was in 2012?
2012, 2013. So it is fact. They know that that is a fact. So that is the point we call discovery. Now, when you discover, you move to the next phase called appraisal. Appraisal is to enable you, oh, the oil I've discovered, is it large enough or is it just small? If it is large enough, it makes it commercial. And it also informs you what type of equipment you need. For example, FPSO. If you don't know the quantity, you go and manufacture an FPSO that will take about 1 billion barrels. Meanwhile, the volume is 550 barrels. Are you not wasting resources? So that is the stage that we got to. And that is one of the appraisal wells that had been drilled by Aker Energy.
So your issue with government now is announcing this as a new
discovery.
oil
It is
find.
it's not a new oil find. The second one is when this was discovered in 2013, Hess saw that they needed to do what we call farming. That means to bring new partners on board. It wants to give out some of the 90% shares. So Luke Oil came in and bought 38% of the shares. Then Fuel Trade bought 2%. That is 40%. Then government of Ghana in 2014 requested to buy 10% more for a subsidiary of GMPC called Esploco. Assignment assumption agreement was made. An estimate cost of the 10% shares was made. That is $44 million that we need to buy. There are certain processes we have to go through. So Parliament approved $47 million, subsequently transferred to GMPC so that we can acquire this. But you also know that between 2014 and 2017, we had a dispute with Ivory Coast, boundary dispute. And the ruling was that there shouldn't be any petroleum activities or petroleum operations within that area until the ruling. Yes. So Hess informed Ghana that because 70% of this block was under dispute, we should hold on until when the ruling is heard. Fortunately, September 2017, we had a ruling, and that favored Ghana. All other things being equal, we expect Nanado government to now move in to acquire the 10% shares. But in this case, they did not. They didn't buy the 10% shares.
So do you know what happened to that $47 million?
That is what we are now requesting government to come up to explain to us. So Hess had to reclaim the 10% to their existing 40%, making it 50. Then in 2018, Aker Energy now acquired the shares of Hess.
The entire
is 50%. So Hess is no more in the equation. It's now Aker Energy. Based on the seismic data and the discovery that were made, Aker was able to do the first appraisal well out of 3. So it is not a discovery. Without a discovery, there cannot be appraisal. And now we are putting these issues. Why is it that government of Ghana refused to acquire the 10% when they know already there was a discovery? 2, where is the $47 million that was approved and subsequently transferred to GMPC to effect the payment? 3, when Luke Oil was purchasing these shares, we made sure that there was an indigenous company. Why is it that Aker did not partner in an indigenous company in this acquisition? These were the issues minorities raised, and it's genuine that we raised those concerns.
And so is this coming to your notice just by the public announcement that was made by this Norwegian energy company, or you were aware prior to the announcement?
Prior to that, I followed up to the then Minister of Energy. As ranking, I put it to him that this is what we had, the information, and it is clear that there hasn't been any payment. And we thought that he has the authority to sign for Aker to take over Hess. And that was an opportunity for you to ensure that we acquired the 10%. But unfortunately, we couldn't. They didn't do that. I also had several occasions asked GNPC where they are not acting. Their explanations are not convincing.
What are those explanations?
Because if you tell me that even though it was transferred, but there's no money to do it, I have a problem. Because when you claim there's no money, when the money had been transferred, I have a problem. Two, when you claim you have no money, but in 2017, you can transfer $100 million to BOST for its debts, and 2018, $60 million. You could just see that this is an intentional, very intentional by GNPC not to acquire the 10% shares.
And has this come up at the committee level?
That is the committee level. We ask GNPC. They are not able to convince us. But it goes beyond. It's more of an executive decision than a corporate decision. If the government, Nana Akufo-Addo, is not interested in government acquiring additional shares, GNPC chief executive cannot flout it and go straight away to acquire it.
So we had energy minister, current energy minister, John Peter Mewu, say that they're working to, make sure that this benefits Ghana largely and we're able to retain a lot of profit. Are you hopeful? I don't know if you're privy to the current arrangements with ACA, and if you're hopeful that we'll make some good money as a country from this new oil field.
There's no any current arrangement with ACA. It is per the agreement. Because if you have agreement where government take royalty of 4% royalties, you cannot change it. Where government GNPC takes 10%, you can't change it. But you must know that royalty is very critical in the sense that it is calculated on gross oil. The moment you produce it, you calculate the royalty on it. But GNPC share is after you have taken what we call cost oil, some expenses that the company had incurred in terms of development, exploration, appraisal, development. You apportion the cost and take it off before you can now calculate the 10%. So if you do the arithmetic, we might be getting less than 13%. If you are earning less than 13% in an oil block, it's not something you should say will benefit significantly.
So you think that if we had gone ahead to buy the shares as we had planned to, then we could earn more?
We could earn more. That would have been, royalties will be 4%, GNPC 10%, then Exploco, which is a subsidiary of GNPC, 10%. So we would have seen that, yes, we have negotiated the best for the best interest of the country.
Interesting. We hope that at the committee level you'll be able to come up with something, because sometimes, well, it beats my imagination. I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians why you're not able to solve some of these matters at a committee level, because we believe that's the reason why you are a committee and you're joining the minority and majority forces together for the better of the country.
We at the committee level we do our best. But we also know that the committee level we are split, majority and minority. And to some extent, the majority will listen to what is coming from above, to some extent.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Adam Mutawakilu is the minority rep on the Mines and Energy Committee. He's been sharing some thoughts with us on the announcement of a new oil find in Ghana. He says, well, it's not a new one. It was discovered in 2012, and so he would rather government tells us they've been able to determine how much we have in those oil finds. And also we've been talking about utility tariffs and the possible increase when Meralco takes over ECG. This is News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedu Lansa. We've got more news for you coming up in Business Tuesday.